They warned her never to fall in love after sunset. But when Amara met the man in white at the crossroads, she didn't know she was shaking hands with the dead. They say Lagos never sleeps, but that night, something else was awake. Amara, a 26-year-old tailor, sat behind her shop, sewing the last dress of the day. Her fingers were tired, her dreams were small, but her beauty could stop traffic. As she locked her shop, she saw him, a tall man in white, standing under a flickering streetlight at the crossroads. His smile was calm, his voice deep like the ocean. "Good evening," he said. Amara nodded shyly, but as the light flickered again, his shadow vanished. When the light came back, he was still there, smiling like he had been waiting for her all his life. "My name is Tunde," he said. And in that moment, destiny took its first breath. Tunde appeared every night like rain that refused to stop falling. He helped Amara carry her fabrics, walked her home, told her stories that made her forget how hard life had been. He never met her in daylight, always at dusk, when the street lights hummed and shadows stretched long. Her friends teased her. "Amara, you sure say this man no be ghost?" She laughed it off. Ghosts don't fix light bulbs. But sometimes, when she looked in the mirror behind her sewing machine, his reflection wasn't there. And once when she tried to touch his hand in sunlight, he stepped back.
You?
"The sun and I are not friends." She smiled, but deep down, something in her heart whispered, something isn't right. When Tunde finally invited her to his home, she expected noise, the smell of food, laughter, neighbors. Instead, she found silence. The house stood at the end of a forgotten street in Ikeja, too quiet, too clean, too still. He said his mother was ill. She doesn't like visitors. But sometimes Amara heard voices, whispers from inside rooms she never entered. Through a cracked window, she saw candles flickering beside framed photos covered in white cloth. "Why do you cover their faces?" she asked. Tunde smiled softly. "Because not everyone is meant to be seen twice." Amara laughed nervously. But that night, as they sat under the mango tree, she swore she saw a pale hand pull the curtain shut. It happened on an ordinary day. A blind beggar stopped at her stall. His eyes were white as chalk. He sniffed the air and said, "You are working with someone who doesn't belong here." She froze. "What do you mean?" The old man smiled sadly. "Tell me, child, when your man leaves at night, does he look back?" Her throat tightened. "Sometimes. Then he is not from this world," he whispered. Before she could speak, he walked away, disappearing into the crowd. That night, when Tunde came, she told him everything. He smiled, eyes cold for the first time. "People hate happiness," he said softly. "Don't let them poison ours." As he left, the wind blew through the window, knocking down her mannequin. It hit the floor, head first. Her heart skipped, but she told herself, "It's nothing, just the wind." Tunde proposed beneath that same flickering streetlight. No ring, just a promise whispered like a secret. He said he couldn't give her gold, but he would love her beyond death. Their wedding was small. Only Amara's friends came. None of Tunde's family. He said they lived far away. During the vows, the pastor asked him to remove his sunglasses. He hesitated, then obeyed. Gasps filled the room. His eyes were gray, not silver, not blue, gray like storm clouds holding lightning. When he looked at Amara, she felt dizzy. That night, under the dim lamp, he kissed her forehead. "You're mine now," he whispered. In this life and the next. Weeks passed. Amara noticed things. Tunde never ate her food, never sweated, never sneezed, never tired. The house stayed cold even in Lagos heat. Scared, she went to Father Okafo, the old priest near the canal. He listened quietly, then sighed. "My child, you have married one who died long ago." Her chest tightened. The priest gave her a wooden cross, dipped in oil. "When he calls your name at night, don't answer. If you do, you will follow him." That night, she woke up to his voice from the living room. Soft, layered, echoing. "Amara, come." She held the cross to her chest. He kept calling, louder, closer. Then silence. Only her heartbeat remained. Rain poured. Tunde had gone out, or so she thought. She found the key he always hid, the one to the locked room. Inside, candles burned low. Photos covered in white cloth. A shrine made of bones, cowries, and a framed photo of Tunde. The date below it, 1978. Died in an accident. Her breath caught. The air turned cold. A whisper floated from behind her. "Now you know." She turned. He was there, half man, half mist, eyes glowing faintly. "I waited for 40 years, he said, "for someone who could love beyond fear." Tears streamed down her face. "What are you?" He smiled sadly. "Something that loved too deeply to rest." They sat on the floor, between candles and shadows. Tunde's body flickered like smoke. "When I was alive, the woman I loved betrayed me. My spirit couldn't leave." Amara reached out. "Then let me help you." He shook his head. "To free me, you must give something back. Your last memory. You live, but forget every face you have ever loved." Her tears fell faster. "There must be another way." He looked towards the window. "There never is." Lightning flashed. For a moment, she saw him, not as man, but as light bound by sorrow. And in that flash, she realized love is not always human. At midnight, Amara stood at the old crossroads. The priest beside her held a candle. Rain beat against her face. From the mist, Tunde appeared, floating, glowing faintly. "Say my name," he whispered. "Free me." The priest shouted, "Don't look at him." But she did. She saw the man who had once loved her, and behind him, hundreds of souls changed to light. Her voice broke. "Tunde Oladele, son of the earth, go in peace." A wind howled. The candle died. He smiled once more. "Thank you, my wife." Then he turned into light and disappeared. When dawn came, only her footprints remained, and his fading beside hers. Years passed. Amara never married again. She lived quietly near the crossroads, still sewing, still waiting. Children called her Mama Silence, the woman who talked to the wind. Sometimes, when rain began to fall, she would stop sewing and whisper, "I hope you found peace." And if you listen carefully, you'd hear a man's voice in the wind say, "I did." They say even now, when the streetlights flicker in Lagos, a figure dressed in white stands watching. A man who once loved too deeply to die. And if you ever walk that road at night, don't look too long. Because sometimes, love still waits in human skin.